I'm going to show you how to create a wireframe in Axure. A wireframe is a blueprint for a website. It is the first thing that you do when you start thinking about your website and what kind of content you want to include. So to create a new wireframe, you simply go to New File here, or you can go to the main menu on the top and you go to File, New. Okay, now that we have the new file created, the first thing I want to do is to save it so I know exactly where it's going to be. So I go to File, Save. I select the folder that I want, and I'm going to call this my first initial and last name, hyphen, and the project name. So this is going to be Emerging Technologies website, and I save it. Now that I have it saved, I can go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first take a quick look at the interface. It's very, very simple. The items that you want to literally add to your wireframes are going to be available on the left side here. So for example, if I want to create a logo, I simply select box 1, drag it over, and I can double click to start typing inside it. So I say logo. And the wireframes are usually just in black and white. They're very simple. They don't have a lot of detailed content or images. It's mostly for reference to know what kind of content and how the flow of the website is going to work. So I'm going to go to drag another item. So if I want to include an image, I simply go ahead and drag an image. If I want the image to cover a large area, I can do something like this. Now, if I want to align two elements together, I can select one, hold the Shift key, and click another one. Notice how both of them have a green line around them. And then I can go to the top here and say Align Center. Okay, so now what we also need to do is we need to add some menu. Now notice that here on the left sidebar, I can see libraries, and then there's a little search panel. I can use this to simply find items that I'm looking for. So in this case, I'm going to use the classic menu horizontal. I'm going to drag it here, and I'm going to call this home. I'm going to have a section of a testimonial. I'm going to have a section of a gallery, and I'm going to have a bio. So to add additional menu options here, I can select sort of the outside part of it. Notice how it's grayed out. So if I select that part, oops, I have to go back again. It's kind of tricky to select it. Okay, or I just, maybe it's just be easier if you just kind of simply select the last one. And then you can go to add menu after. So now I'm going to have another one called bio. And I'm going to select one more. This is going to be benefits or class overview, really. And maybe I'll just move this over a little bit. So I'm going to call this class overview, maybe a gallery of items that I learned. So then I can have a bio. I can have a and actually maybe for the gallery I should call it benefits. So I'm going to call it home overview benefits, your bio, and then about the school. And then last but not least, a way to contact you. So I'm going to do contact. So I can go ahead and kind of move this over a little bit. I can also stretch it so it stays in one line. And then literally it's a matter of selecting the items. You can center them. There we go. It's a little better. And then I can go ahead and create a new section. So let's say I want to create the next section here. That's an overview. Maybe I have a title. So I can actually kind of remove everything, and I can also scroll down and see the other options. So I can see an H1 heading. That's usually your titles are a headline. And in coding purposes, they're called heading because they're called H1 tags. And that's a priority for Google and other search engines to recognize the content that's more, that's, I guess, more important in the page itself. So I'm going to type in here class overview. And I can center that. I can add some more text. So I go to paragraph and I simply drag it over. Maybe I want to have a couple. I can do 2 columns, or I can just do 1 column. Maybe something like this. And I can go to the next section and I can have a little information about the benefits or things that areas, or better yet, let's call this areas or topics. That's better. We're going to call it topics. So I'm going to do a gallery. See if there's a gallery. Nope. Okay, so we'll just do it manually. So I'm going to grab, I can also copy and paste these areas. So we'll do topics, sorry. I'm calling it topics now. And you can kind of see as I drag things over, there's some guides that I can use for reference. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a couple pictures that describe the different areas or topics that we discuss in the classroom. So we have here, and I can select all that and copy and paste it to save some time. And maybe I leave an area for a description. So maybe I go to H3 tags to be a little smaller, the text, and I would call it topic 1. Topic 2. So when you're actually going to build a website, you can replace this to be the actual topics that you learn. So for example, or here, we can just do it here. We'll do social media, learn about UX design, you learn about Weebly, you're going to learn about WordPress, you learn obviously new technologies. Maybe actually let's be a little more descriptive. So maybe we do augmented reality. And some other things that we discussed was research and strategy. So you get the idea. You can obviously organize this in any sequence that you find relevant. So you can see you can move very quickly in this program. That is why I want to make sure you guys learn how to use it as well, because it is one of the most popular software to create wireframes. Okay, so we have this selected. Now I can also right click and group it, so that way I can have things aligned easily. There we go. That's better. Okay, so we have the topic section. Now we also had on the top, we have a section for the bio. So here you can put in a picture of you, for example, and I'm gonna copy the headline and move it down here. And I'm gonna call bio. And actually make this lowercase. There we go. Move it down a little bit. And maybe you have your picture and then a little information about yourself and what do you like about the class. So you put your info there. And you can also do a headline. So you can put in your name. Okay, I'm gonna save it because I haven't saved in a while. Okay, and then we go to the next section, which is the benefits of the class. So, or maybe actually might make a little more sense to continue with the benefits and then get into the bio. So let's go ahead and change this. So we got topics, benefits. I don't think we had added it there. So we're gonna need to add a new menu after and call this bio. There we are. So you can see how easy it is to just kind of start thinking about this. The idea of the wireframes is so you start thinking the same way I'm doing it right now, and then you can make quick changes versus doing this while you're designing or when in the development process, which will be very time consuming and also budget consuming. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to drag it here. And then I said, okay, now I do want to put the benefits here. So then I can put in a list. Maybe it's like a list of items. Why it's beneficial to take the class. So it could be benefits. So it would be to put it reason 1. And obviously that's going to be a little more text than that. So you probably can create some more information. So maybe we actually set it up this way. Let me actually go back to doing it a little better. So it would be more like reason 1. I can select this and make this bold. So I know the shortcut for making things bold, which is Command B as in boy, or Control B on the PC if you're using a PC. Okay, so I would have reason 1, reason 2, and I'll make it a little larger, and maybe one more reason. So I copy this, I paste it. Okay, then we can go into the bio, which is great. We're moving along. Maybe you have a little information about you, and maybe you want to put in some kind of, if you wanted to do a little kind of quote, you can do that yourself here. So you can put in something, you know, or you can actually just copy some of this text. So maybe this is a quote that you're adding. Okay. Actually, let's make this here. Whoops. Okay, now one way that you can actually make this uh, bigger, the text inside, is you can double click to select the text, and there's a shortcut that you can do that increases the text. Actually, this is pretty much in every software. And you press Shift and Command, and then you do the greater than sign on the keyboard, and that increases your text. So it's actually a very cool way of adjusting the text. And one more time, that's the Shift Command, which is the one that has the apple icon on your keyboard. That's the command key. And then you do the greater than sign, which is the symbol that is above the period. So like if you press the period key, the shift and the command, that will increase your text. If you actually did the other one, the less than sign, it would decrease it. So that's a very simple way of adjusting the text. And once you kind of get that set up, and then you can put in your name. Then if you want to center things, you can just a couple things. So let's go ahead and do, actually, I use shortcuts a lot, so I'm always used to like doing things with the shortcuts. But anyways, the shortcuts to center anything on the on any software pretty much is you select the text, you press the Shift, the Command, and the letter C for center, and it will center your text. If you did Shift, Command, L, will left justified, R, right justified, C, center. On the PC is Control Alt key and the letter C, and that will do the same thing. Okay, so now that we're moving along, we have a quote, and then we're moving towards the last section, which is about the school. So I'm going to copy the title again, paste it, call this about LTU, and then I can move this down a little bit. And now what I can do here is I'm going to maybe put a picture or logo of the school. So I'm going to go to Image, kind of drag the icon here. And then I'm going to copy the paragraph text. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we got about LTU. And then last but not least, we had here about the school. So we want to make sure we call it about, yeah, it's called about LTU. And then last but not least, we'll do contact. Contact me. I will just put contact, that's fine. Just keep it simple. Okay, and then we'll put email, and then you can put in your email. And you can copy this. Select the email, make that bold. So one more time is Command B or Control B on the PC. Copy and paste this. I'm assuming you guys know how to copy and paste something, but it's Command C and Command V. For the PC, it's Control C and Control V as in Victor. Okay, so here will be telephone. You put in your number. Okay, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, at least maybe if you wanted to put in like a Twitter or your Facebook or Instagram account, that's fine as well. But anyway, so the idea is that you can very, very quickly, and usually all websites, let me add one more thing that says copywritten for 2017. All right. Okay. All right. And there is one section I just remember one more time. The beauty about doing wireframes is I ask you guys to put in one example of your work. So after topics, I'm going to have you guys, or maybe actually after benefits, I'm going to have you guys add a section about your work. So we're going to do this. I'm going to have you guys do, we're going to call it work example. And let's just call it work since we're keeping it all pretty much one word. So I'm going to call it work. And then after benefits, right? Yep. So then I can simply select all this by holding and dragging this section. Then I'm going to move it down. And I'm going to create a new section here called work example. And this could be, this could actually be either an image of your work. So when somebody clicks on it, they can see the full amount. Or it could be just a thumbnail with the copy of one of your assignments. So for example, I would start probably with a headline. So I'm going to do a heading here, heading 2, because it's the second priority. That's number 1. This is 2. So this would be project name. And then I'm going to put in some information about it. So for example, here it could be the description that you had. Now, thinking about how long your projects were, since there were a couple paragraphs, maybe we need to shift this over a little bit. So I'm going to move this down. And I'm just going to put this as a 1. Let's do something like this instead. That's better. Okay, great. So I can extend that a little more as well. Okay, good. Okay, so that gives you an idea. I will have the work, a little thumbnail, project name, or you can even do a full one, you know. If you have beautiful images that you are utilizing as your examples, would actually look a little better just to have a nice break with an image. And then I can bring this, it'll probably be a little more than that too. So let me copy some more text. So it's a little more realistic to what you guys are going to do at the end. So it probably would be something like that. And then you're going to have the rest of the information here. So you can move that up. And actually I can kind of select, because I have this as a group, I can select everything and center it. So, oh, okay, this actually got shifted, but that's okay. This as well. Maybe it's just to move things, you know, change it up a little bit. I'm going to put in the image for the LTU on this side. Do something like that. It's fine. Okay, So there it is. Here's an example of a simple website that you can utilize for your project. If you have any questions, please email me at panderani@ltu.edu. Okay, thanks.